Hi everyone, I'm Scott, and today I'm sharing the topic with you. It's related to the open source development in China. And here today there is 2 or 3 important things that happen in China. One is the IP sharing, we call it open source growth rate. Right now in the world, China is the #1 contribution to the open source. Secondly, the open source, the IP, all based outside China. This is the things that is happening. So the first slide that because the national the country that right now is focused on first compile the strategy into China's 14th five-year plan in 2021, and give the visions of 2035 that clearly state that the country aims to support the development and innovation consortia such as digital technology open source communities. So the MITT is forming a foundation, we call it OpenAtom, to support that. So this is the changing right now, and you can see that the stock market relation to the open source community, all the company is touching to open source like OpenHarmony, Open gas, or the Open OLA is all is growing. So I think open source, this is important for changing the IP contribution and the foundation of China open source to become a national policy. So this is the first slide I will share to you. The second slide is related to the open source. We know that the chip shortage and lack of operating system in China is right now the situation. So related to the open source, we know the OS, we know Android and IoT will dominate the 2 top of the mobile operating system over the world. So China is focusing that how to change the situation. So start from 2009, Huawei has doing their own operating system called Harmony, and they were trying to put the Harmony OS into their phone set, but because Huawei has restricted from the U.S. government to force them to not support the chipset and the Android system to support the phone set business. So it is why that Huawei decided to donate the system to China government. So this is the things that happened from the last year to this year. So MITT has formed an NGO called OpenAtom Foundation. So we can see that right now has more than 10 open system has put it into development in this foundation. Because it's NGO means that it's non-profitable organization that run in China, that to support and to manage all the related to open source reading the IP right in China. And right now, I think you may have heard of Harmony. That Harmony is owned by Huawei, but Huawei has donated the system to OpenAtom Foundation. So it will become, the name means Open Harmony. So the other has Open Harmony is focusing on the end device or the edge device. It covers 128 megabytes to 16 gigabytes memory in the hardware. And the secondly will be OpenOla. OpenOla is like the desktop or server operating system that similar as Windows and similar as Linux. And Ali has donated a system called Ali OS. LOS means that Ali has contributed their device system for the IoT device, and also contribute and donate the system to the OpenAtom Foundation. And others like Tencent, like Pika, and like UVML has also donated some open source into the foundation. So I will be running as like we are familiar with like Linux Foundation, Eclipse Foundation. So China right now has own open source foundation called OpenAtom to support in this field. So all the IP will be kept and managed in China. It's not contributed into outside world. So I think that this is the major happening in open source sector. And we all know in the software business and cover all the vertical segment, all the software has used open source usage for like 25 to 80%, means that a system can bring the open source module that and subsystem that into to use into their product. So the percentage is very high. So open source will become the major change. The policy and the management will become the major change in software industry. So it is why the country, China, think that it's very important and try to use the government to support in this field. So this is the relations coming from the OpenStep. So there's 4 major steps to flourish the open source ecosystem. The first one is build strong foundation. So it is why OpenAtom has been established. And the second is open source software brand. So right now they have more than 10 and putting into this foundation and put the guidance from successful international open source project and establish and participate in the open source community. So they are doing right now. The third is rapidly educate and incubate open source culture. So to become commercialized, that they are encouraging the commercial vendors that to bring the open source and to polish or the change and become a commercial software based on the original open source. So the ecosystem that bring into is want to rapidly develop for this software to go to market. And the last is strengthen open source governance for international partnership. So like OpenAtom is work with a partnership with Eclipse Foundation to co-share the IP or the to helping the different system can run the same software. So it's really changed right now. We know it. We know right now those kinds of change is happening very fast in China. About OpenHarmony, that it is that the birth of OpenHarmony is very important because the lack of the OS foundation is right now China has missing. So we feel that OpenHarmony will be a very strong operating system. They are aiming into IoT field. So in September 2020, the OpenAtom Foundation accept Huawei's donation of the code to a smart terminal operating system equipped with the basic capability. And since the OpenAtom Foundation has accepted the code, they are changing the brand from the Harmony to OpenHarmony. So right now, the third-party Harmony OS, they want to build the ecosystem to help the OpenHarmony has grows rapidly and grows very well. So Foundation has accept the partnership with different software vendor that you can join the Foundation and you can take the open source to redesign and adding more middleware and all top-up application to form your own branding, just like Linux Foundation that we know, similar company like Red Hat, Ubuntu, CentOS, they are bringing the source code from the Linux Foundation and try to build their own commercial software to sell. So this is very similar as Linux is doing, like Android is doing. So in China, OpenHarmony will be growing as the third largest open source software in the world. So because we are investing iSoftStone, and iSoftStone has the party as a department that they are work with Huawei to writing the detailed code for the Harmony. So we seek for opportunity this is the opportunity that they can release and cut the department to go in this business trend. So OpenHarmony right now has the two major release. One is in September 2021. The second, we call it OpenHarmony 3.1, is released in March 2022, and as a regular basis for 6 months release. So the next release will be OpenHarmony 4.0. It will be planned to release in September 2022 this year. So you can see that because they can handling to 16 gigabits memory. So you can have GPU, CPU in the motherboard. So right now we are waiting the OpenHarmony 4.0 because Huawei is released his Harmony OS this last month. Sorry. And as a company called SwanLink, it's bringing from the iSoftStone, and they are focusing on OpenHarmony to contribute the entire or total system to help the product owner or company to have the capability to use OpenHarmony to do their next generation product. So the SwanLink has 3 major products right now. The software will be released as 3 different versions. One is for transportation. The other is for smart display. The third one is for the IoT industry. So they have they use that OpenHarmony 3.1 to release the 3 different software system and running on the different we call it malleable. So it is right now they are bringing more ecosystem player inside. So the key advantage for why we use OpenHarmony, I think has 4 major key advantage to persuade that the vendor that to take OpenHarmony has the first choice. The first one is modular, easy to tailor, because it is comparing the Android is mapping the new application and function to the next generation of the Android. So it is because it's focusing the IoT platform. So easy to tailor is very important, that how to use support embedded system and then proprietary module to fast adopting into this OS. So this is really important. And the second is enhanced safety and evaluate the system permission control, and like you can have 2 phone set, and you can use IPC to control different applications and running in the different devices. And third is power saving. You can cut like 15 to 20% of power saving compared to general Android system. The last one I think is most important is because it's focusing on the IoT market space, so it's more suitable for IoT distribution. The first one is not limited by memory capability, because we know that memory management is very differently compared to Android and OpenHarmony. In this field, I think OpenHarmony has doing a better job there to do memory management. And the secondly, as most importantly, we call Android is controlled by the hardware, but OpenHarmony is controlled by person. Means I can have 5 Android and all the policy has managed and control in the different devices. But in OpenHarmony, we can combine the 5 different systems to share the single point of control. Means that the user will be the key to manage all the system. This is the real key difference compared to Android. So if you have only 1 devices, one is Android and second is running on OpenHarmony, they has something low difference compared to the function. But if you have 2, 3, 5 more than device, like a car, you have key, you have air controller, you have ADAS system, you have power system. All the system can be running on top of OpenHarmony. Then the person has easy to control all the devices in the car. It's different. The usage behavior is totally different comparing from Android and IoT. So I think this one is provided the key competitive advantage compared to different systems. And also because it's cover all the ecosystem, so it will become the base kernel for digital transformation. So coming from, you have chip and module, you have hardware solution, you have OpenHarmony OS, you have connecting Wi-Fi, 5G, you have third-party software, you have HMS, you have full sense of all the application scenario, and you are putting together and through the ISV to sell, and also you need to hop into the cloud services. So it's a very huge digital ecosystem must be built. So you can see that we have selected some kind of different company is focusing on this area. So it is what you can see that smart computing, why iSoftStone is very important is because iSoftStone is covering 80 or 90% of the capability to running this ecosystem. Expect that they don't have the chip and module, but they have hardware solution through the cloud services. All they can put into and and helping their customer to do digital transformation. And because it is so important, so some local government is embracing this opportunity to develop their OS related industry like Microsoft in Seattle. So the OS related industry is very full scale and sophisticated. So we know there's have 3 or 4 local cities. They have put in their resources and aiming for this area to grab the provider, the capability provider to help them to build their OS related ecosystem. The first one is Shenzhen. So we know that Chinasoft has worked with Shenzhen to form a company called Kaihong, and they had joint venture with the Shenzhen Capital Group, and they are providing IoT operating system based on OpenHarmony. The second one, we call it Top Web in Changsha, Hunan province. They are forming a company called Open Valley. It's also they don't get outside investment. It's 100% owned by Top Web. It's a subsidiary for the Top Web. They also focusing on industry-oriented commercial integration operating system and support smart device like OpenHarmony. And they are more focusing on the transportation area. And we are successfully to bring iSoftStone to base to locate into Wuxi in Jiangsu province. Wuxi, the semiconductor ecosystem has the 100% full-scale capability. In China, only have 2 cities. The first one is Shanghai. The second one is Wuxi. And Wuxi is also claimed to become the IoT leading city in China. In last year, the GDP has more than 300 billion RMB, the GDP coming from this part. So Wuxi was very important that we are successfully to work with iSoftStone to help them to put this part there to work with Wuxi government to form a company called SwanLink and putting in Wuxi high-tech zone. So this is changing. We see that because all the city have feel that it's very important for this sector. So they start to find the suitable company and put their headquarters to put into the city and to bring the government funding to help them to grow. And the secondly, in China, in Beijing, there's two companies. We call it EOS. EOS is providing the OS competing with Microsoft Windows, because all we know, all the government is using the EOS and the other company's product to have security reasons. So they are using iOS or cheating software to in the government sector. So they also have investing in the OpenHarmony area. And Zhongke Chuangda is established in Beijing, and also they have joint venture with Hundersoft and the Partnership Corporation. They are providing the ADAS system to vehicle, digital electronic vehicle area. So they are focused there. And Nanjing had two companies called Chenmai and Renhe. So this 7 company is related to this area, as all focusing on the OpenHarmony software to start to put resources to invest to have to putting into different sector that to help their customer to embrace the open source. But if you compare to the 7 company, we found SwanLink will be the first here leading position, because they have successfully to serve more than 300 companies that to help them to put OpenHarmony into their product. We call it SKU. So the SKU services right now here, June 2022, they have more than 700 product has been successfully put the OpenHarmony software into their products. So like something, the big brand things will be an electric car. Joyoung is like a lot of some kitchen electronic machines that so they are forming that to help to into that. So I think SwanLink will be the growing fast company right now in this sector. So it is why that we found the opportunity, and we work with Venturous. We work with Wuxi government to fund SPU to invest into this company. So if we take a deep dive for the roadmap of their product, you can see that they are focusing on the 3 major areas. The first one is smart display, then second it will be transportation, and the third will be will be the IoT industry solution. And in the IoT industry solution, we were partnership with the Ventec right now. The Ventec will be a leading IoT devices company in the world. The market share for this area, it will be 39%. And the number 2 company is Siemens. Siemens only get 8%. So in the industry area, IoT industry area, that if those companies can partnership and easily that to adopt from Linux or from Android system to help them into the porting OpenHarmony right now into. So this is like transportations, like smart mobility distribution versions. So it's helping the biggest the biggest one and the third one that to help them to have 15 different vehicles that to put the OpenHarmony into. In the vehicle area there has 2 means that the one is we are helping the T-Box vendor. T-Box means that if you have car, all the information hub all information need to connect it into small devices for data exchange and transportation. We call it T-Box. So right now the T-Box is using the Unix versions. So we are helping biggest one that they contribute like 1.5 million pieces, the box pieces in each year for serving the 32 car vendors. So in this field that we successfully to work with them, and it's very easy that we could have OpenHarmony in vehicle solution that to help them to grow this sector. The second, the next one is a commercial display. It's an industry distribution version step. So we do have the system is helping us to let people to going through a gate. The ticket gate, the gate has a machine that helping the security guard to know this one they had COVID testing and how many how you call that injection you have done, and so it's easy to help people, help them to bypass all the people has okay, no problem. Yeah, just to identify which one has problem if the people are going to a building. So the product right now is helping those kind of the partner or customer to really go into OpenHarmony product. And we know that because that our solution in OS, okay, one slide I can. We know that once you need to grow OpenHarmony install base, you need to have all the ecosystem, especially focusing on the first important is chip. Until September, right now has 70 different chips is under development. It's related to ARM-based, RISC-V-based, and MIPS. Until the end of this year, it can support x68 based like Intel C1, C3, or MD. and the CPU coverage will grow to 24. So it's like 17 to 24, and the next year will be 24 to 50. So this area, I think the chip support thing, it will be very important that we track if OpenHarmony will be growth to tier 16% of the market share of the entire IoT devices. So we judge we are calculating the growth and percentage maybe to 2024. The 16% of the market share will be reached. So OpenHarmony will become the fast-growing operating system in the world. So today, I just share the China support for the open source area and how the industry has moving fast. Once they get government support, and then serve the ecosystem, and we since we going deep dive for this sector, we found a very good investment opportunity in iSoftStone. So we successfully to bring the team outside and work with the local government to invest in the first in the seed round, and hopefully that Huawei will be evaluate that to also to invest in this company. So it is all the information I share to you. Okay, I'm done my part. Any question?
Yeah, thank you, Scott. So Scott has given us a very good overview of the open source foundation and the whole development in China, and then particularly on OpenHarmony, which is developed by Huawei and then donated to the OpenAtom Foundation. And last but not least, he also shared about OpenHarmony used it by SwanLink, which is a joint venture by Venturous Group, iSoftStone, and also Wuxi High-Tech District Government. So this new JV by us, we see a lot of good prospect in it. So which is why we are also looking forward to develop more stuff alongside with Huawei. So we're right now taking questions. If anybody wants to voice out, you can unmute yourself or drop a message in the chat box and I'll read it out for you. Okay, Scott, we have one question in the chat box, so I'm just going to read it out for you.
Okay.
The question says, what do you think is the size of this business opportunity on open source and maybe even OpenHarmony in particular?
Okay, I think that the oil sector, China only get less than 5% of the total market share. So because China is the biggest market in the world for the open source sector. So if in China, the less than 5% will grow to 10 or 20%, so there will be a very huge numbers of in this sector. And I think I saw number that the oil sector something like 28 billion US in the world. So the 5% is very little. So in China, because it's the biggest market, So China think that we have capability to grow the market share from less than 5% to 10 or 15 or 20% of the entire market share. So it would raise 228 billions. Like if you increase 15 to 20%, it's like 5.6 billion US dollars in this market segment. And also because it's really important for the digital transformation. So this ecosystem, because it not only have OS, but also has hardware and application and services. So I think it's really huge.
Yeah, indeed, I can hear that the numbers are really big and we can expect a lot of growth in this market. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, now that we have you online as the Chief Technical Officer of SwanLink, maybe you can share with us what are some future development, or if you can disclose some work progress, some projects that SwanLink is working on.
Okay. We are porting we have porting 3 devices. One is Intel C3, using Intel C3, so it's work with Intel, Huawei, and Advantech and SwanLink to pull the open source software to support the Intel basic x86 basis machine. So it is really important, because once it has been done, means that a lot of product design using Intel AMD x86 devices is easily to merge or to enhance into OpenHarmony. So, and because in this area, Advantech has more than 10,000 products. So once there has been breakthrough, and we are easy to help Advantech to design their OpenHarmony-like OS to help them to fast to moving into this sector. And we are working with some local transportation company to put, because we know that in a car, because of the regularity, so they have 3 or 4 display separately and putting into the drivers, the driver area. So we want to integrate, become as one, to integrate all the resources into to help them to easily use the devices. So we are working with Wuxi government and their local transportation company to design a new devices for that. And one OBU has been established and being tested, is putting in a ship. They have all the display devices, or the new OBU. They work with Beidou and the 5G, and put in and the ship, local ship in China. So you can see that a lot of project, some important project has been driven from the top. They want to use the China-made software and hardware, the system, yeah, for some security reason. So this area is moving very fast. So I think because right now still only have 6 to 7 company is familiar with the OpenHarmony to know how to write the software that to compile into this area. But this market, this ecosystem will be grows very rapidly because the local government or the central government maybe will release some policy that in some area field they need to use the OpenHarmony software and use the local chips to forming the new devices to buy from this policy. So it is why you see that maybe 1 week or 10 days before in China stock market, you see some related to this area will like all increase 15 to 30%.
I see.
Everyone think that this area will be have very good opportunity to grow.
I see. So actually, you have actually mentioned quite a few industries that you think OpenHarmony open source can be utilized in. For example, the shipping industry, the display industry. There even are some government entities that you said have already utilized, and there's also IoT systems. So out of all of this, which one do you think has the biggest potential and growth for OpenHarmony software?
I think in the licensing, the commercial area is is also the biggest one, like phone set, like a pad, like a watch, like some small devices. For the licensing is for the connection licensing is really important. It's really big in this area, but because we in commercial, so the income will be less than the product in the business or government side. So SwanLink has 2 important strategies. First one is focusing on the consumer for the connection numbers. The secondly is more focusing on the industry, the B side or the government side for the income earning, the earning area. So these 2 major areas to C and to B or to G is focusing right now. So I think the trend we saw it very aggressively, like to the 2024, 35% of the IoT devices will convert into OpenHarmony in China. So this year will be 2022, and till the 2024, there will be 35% of the devices is all convert into OpenHarmony. This is the forecasting and trend that we are saw it right now.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Do you have any other questions? Okay, with that, we shall end this session. Thank you, Scott, for your time, and thank you everyone for participating and joining this Venturous session.